Hello everybody, this is Just Finished Reading. This is my channel for books and other cultural aspects. My name is Leo Joas. So today, this is the book I'm showing you. This is called Prisoners of Geography. And it's a very, very interesting book for people who like maps and for people who like a little bit of history. That's exactly my situation, my case. I love that. And written by Tim Marshall, and it says here, it goes like places on Earth that had, where geography had a very important role. It goes, let me see here, it shows some 10 or such places like Russia, China, United States, Western Europe, Africa, the Middle East, etc. And they show how history had to happen like that because of geographical aspects. The first case here is Russia, and it talks about, it has got maps inside. Check how beautiful it is. And it talks about Western Russia and the boundaries with Belarus, Poland, and Ukraine, and how that is a great plain. So it's very easy for invasion, for foreign invasion, for military invasion. Of course, that's what we're talking about. And the first natural wall, so to say, the natural protection would be the Urals, the mountain chain, the Urals. And but before you reach the Urals, you have invaded already a great portion of Russia. So that explains, that's what Tim Marshall wants us to understand. He explains the high level of militarization in Western Russia because it's so easy to invade, because it's a plain, no border. So they are kind of prisoners of their geography to the west until you reach the Urals. And from the Urals to east, that's going to be a lot more difficult to invade, so that's not a problem. So these kind of things, I have never heard about this in history or geography classes. This is why this book is so great. So another good example is chapter 3 is United States, and now here's the map of United States. If you don't know, of course you know. And he tries to explain a little bit of how the United States is such a great country. I mean, great in economically, but also great in geographically. I mean, because it has two oceans, one in each side, and it has two great mountain chains, which are the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains, which protect either West Coast and East Coast. And they have a huge basin here, the Mississippi Basin, which was sadly important for the development of the country, as in logistics. So it's like a three-piece country. It's very geographically organized, geographically favorable for the development of the country. Another part of the book talks about the Middle East and all here's a map of the Middle East, and some reason of the conflicts that happen here, which is there wasn't till, let's say, 100 years ago, before World War I, there wasn't the concept of these countries that we know, Syria, Jordan, Iraq. That was a huge desert, and there were cities. So the cities were states, but in between cities, it was just nothing. It was just the desert, no cultivated land. So after World War I, when Lawrence from Arabia, he gathered many tribes with the Arabs and pushed the Ottoman Empire back to Turkey, and it's going to end some 10 years later. And he gathers them in kind of a people and of a nation. And after the end of World War I, the winners, it's France and England, they divide the Middle East in straight lines. Can you see there? They divide in some straight lines. Of course, they divided this in some office in Europe, in a post-war decision, and they didn't consider the geographical aspects like rivers or mountain chains that normally divide countries. So they gathered in a country different tribes, and on the other hand, they divided with a straight line a people, and this people, for example, the Kurds is a good example. The Kurds today occupy Turkey and Iraq and Iran. It's one people. They claim for their country, but they are divided into three countries because these divisions were made elsewhere. Another good example here is about Africa. And where's Africa? Here is Africa, another chapter of the book. And you can see as well that Africa has got straight line divisions that were made in the 19th century, in the colony time, when Belgium, Germany, Holland, England, France were dividing Africa for them. But again, the divisions were made in some office in Europe, and they didn't respect the people, and they didn't respect the geography. So many conflicts that still exist nowadays in Africa have their roots in this poor planned division, so says Tim Marshall, because different peoples were kept in the same country, and whereas sometimes one big nation was divided into a straight line, putting half the population in each country, say Angola and Zambia. They have a straight line that divides them there. Well, let me tell you about another part of the world which I love very much, which is India and Pakistan. So we are kind of familiar with the independence of India, which is called the partition, which happened in 1947 after England fought the Second World War. In 45, they were exhausted, they were poor, they had gathered all their army from around the world to fight World War II, and many men from India. So India didn't have an English army any longer in there, so it was a great moment for their independence. So what did they do? They proclaimed their independence, but they parted the country in two, in Pakistan and India. Well, there's also Pakistan of the East, which then became Bangladesh, but that's another story for another video. And Muslims went to Pakistan and Hindus remained in India. So that was like a huge mass of people walking east and walking west. And of course, there was a lot of war, a lot of people dying, like millions of people dying. It's considered to be the greatest migration of human history till now. This happened in 1947. And it also tells about the importance of the Himalayas as a buffer, as a serious condition that keeps China from invading India and vice versa. It tells also why China holds Tibet till now, because Tibet is the ultimate border. Whichever country that Tibet is actually after one crosses the Himalayas, and if whichever country conquers Tibet, it would be going down to conquer China. So that's why China conquered before, to assure that Himalaya border. This is absolutely genius. It's a great book. It's a great book, Prisoners of Geography. If you like geography, if you like maps, if you like culture, if you like to just have a little different understanding of what we had in school about geography, this is great. This is great. If you know any other book like this, just give it to me and tell me. Let's talk about it. Okay? Nice having you here. Till next time.